How's everybody doing? It is Friday morning. First, I wanted to talk to you about Pinstripe. If I was you, I would be betting on Pinstripe. I will be. I think it's a heck of a bet today. Working good, owned by a buddy of ours. They got high hopes for this one, and I think he's got a big shot today. And he's not going to be favored, I don't think. I think that high buyer number horse is going to be favored. But let's get in tomorrow. That's why we're doing the video. Tomorrow is a big day. It's Fountain of Youth Day. And this is one of these days where I always try to get with people because we've got so many of our fat ball guys or young guys that really like these big days and they start to fire and you can really get caught up in, well, it's a big day, so I got to bet all these races, and you just lose your head and don't focus on what is important. And what is important is, how much did you bring? How much did you come home with? That's the key. You still got to really, really be patient. You got to really look for what you're trying to do. Whatever your favorite bets are, whatever you're trying to hit, you cannot just start betting a million races and sitting there with your buddies, drinking beer, eating hot dogs. Next thing you know, you're down $300. You just can't let yourself do that. So what should I do? What would you do? Well, I know what I would do. I would be keying my day around the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th races. I would spread like crazy in the first three at golf. Of course, we're talking about Gulfstream. XY Jet is probably going to win. If XY Jet doesn't win, the 7 or 8's probably going to win. So you don't have to go deep in that race. Catherine Sophia looks like the winner. If she don't win, the 1 or 2 will probably win. So you don't have to go very deep in there. The 6th race, the 4 or the 8's going to win. Lyra or the Breeders' Cup champion. So one of those two are going to win. So you just got to figure out, what do you want to do around those races? How much do you want to fire? Bet pick threes. Do you want to make some straight bets? I know those horses are going to be chalk, so you probably need to bet pick threes to get some kind of value. If you just take one, single one of those horses, take two deep in the other ones, those tickets don't cost that much. You're talking, 3 times 1 times 2 or 1 times 3 times 2. You're talking $6 a ticket. Those pick threes could pay $20, $30 if you catch the right one. If it chalks out, it may only pay $12. So you want to have that a bunch of times. And then you want to roll it into the 7th race, because we really like the 9 off limits. This is a really, really tough race, so don't bet a ton of money in here. Try to have something going, for a little bit of money to hit big. If you want to take Catherine Sophia with the 4-8 into a bunch of them in the 7th, and then make extras with the 9 off limits. If you want to bet a little bit on off limits, you're going to get a pretty decent price there. Then the next 2 races are really tough. Heart to Heart and Partisan Politics look like the winners, but I'm not sold they have to win. Those are tough races. I think what I'm going to do during those races is regroup and get ready for the late races, because I really like the late pick 4. I really like the late pick 3. And it's because the 10th race, I think, is really tough. I mean, we like Arapica the best, but there's 7, 8 horses that can win that race. If you can afford to take all, do it. If not, just take the 5 or 6. I think we got 6 on the sheet. Just take those 6 and try to get through. The 11th race, to me, is absolutely impossible. It's a bunch of Pletchers and some Browns and some other horses. The best horses got bad posts. So, to me, again, if you can afford to take all, take all. If you can't afford to take all, try to trim it down to 5 or 6 horses. I wouldn't leave any of the Pletchers or Browns out. I just wouldn't in these kind of races. And then you get to the Fountain of Youth. A lot of people are trying to beat Mohey Man. I know Bruno is trying to beat Mohey Man. I just don't think they're going to beat this horse. They may beat this horse in the Derby. They may beat this horse in the Florida Derby. I just think he's got the experience over Zulu. I really like Zulu for the future. I just don't know if Zulu's ready to beat this horse now. But in the pick 4s and pick 3s, you can take them both if you want, depending on how many you take in the other races. I don't like the other horse much, the Florida horse. I just don't think that horse is the quality of Mohey Men or Zulu. I don't think you need to go more than 2 deep in there. I know it's probably a 3-horse race on paper, but that's all I got in there. And then in the last, I really like American Patriot. The Sharp horse came back yesterday and won, proving the form of that race. The horse did not get a very good trip last time. Gets JJ, gets a good post. Should be able to just sit right in there, pop that corner, hopefully be 1, 2, 3 out of the gate, work his way off the rail, and be in perfect position. 7-2 on American Patriot is a great price, and I really think the only horse that can beat that horse is the 4. So again, you can spread in the 10th, spread in the 11th, only take 1 or 2 in the 12th, only take 1 or 2 in the 13th, and I think you got a shot if you can get lucky in the 10th and 11th, and even if you bet the pick 5 in the 9th, where you can spread, go small in those last 2 races. That's what I'm going to do to try to nail the day right there. I'm going to have some big pick 4s, hopefully going to American Patriot and the 4. I know they're going to be 3-1 and probably 8-5. So you want to have it a couple times if you can, but you could get lucky in the 10th or 11th race and catch some wild result, because both those races are completely wide open. There's no reason to think that you absolutely have to go short in the 10th or 11th race. So that's the way I would focus on the day. I'm not really wild about the card until later. I think Mohey Man and American Patriot are good bets. I think you're going to probably get 6-5, 8-5 on Mohey Man, and Zulu will probably be 2-1, and I think one of those are going to win. You're not going to get rich off of this ticket probably unless we get lucky and catch a 30-1 in the 10th or 11th, but that is very possible. And if you look around the country, the other bets I would make in the big race at Aqueduct, Katniss the Victor, I think, is the winner in there. In the 4th race earlier, I like Wire Dancer. I think 4-1's fair on Wire Dancer. Turfway Park later on in the night. You got a hurdler running against some bad horses. Obviously, there's one other horse in there that can win, but you might get 2.5, 3-1 on the hurdler, and going that kind of distance, ship it into a garbage racetrack. Big chance for the hurdler to come in here and just steal that purse. You go over to Oaklawn, man, that's a tough card at Oaklawn. I don't know how to pronounce the horse in the 4th like Ma'am, I guess the horse is pronounced in the 4th race. I like a lot. Sitting on the rail, going 2 turns, 7-2. So there are some bets Saturday. Don't go wild and lose your whole pot. Make sure you're thinking this is the road to the Derby. You want to build a pot. You don't want to go crazy and wonder where your paycheck's at. So be careful out there. Focus in on those horses that look like they're going to win. Take your shot into the 7th race, because that's a wide open race where you can go small, 5th and 6th race, go wide in the 7th, make extras with off limits, and if we get lucky and off limits wins, you could have a nice pick 3. Because if off limits wins, that pick 3 could pay $100 for $1, even with Catherine Sophia, Lyra, the Breeders' Cup champ. So you're only 1 times 2. Times 1, that's only a $2 ticket. Repeat that 6, 7 times, and you might be able to cash for several $100s there. And then you want to at least have it a couple times, spreading out like crazy if off limits would get beat. So good luck tomorrow. If you got any questions, I'm gonna try the chat on the site tomorrow. See if we can get that up and running. We want to get that up and running before the Keeneland meet comes. And if you got any other questions, try to shoot me an email. I will have my cell phone on most of the day, at least until about 4 or 5 o'clock, when I have to actually go do some basketball games on the radio. Later on Saturday night, we got the sectional finals here in Cincinnati, so I'm doing a doubleheader on the radio there. So if anybody from Cincinnati wants to go with me, you're more than welcome to ride with me. We got Oak Hills Muller, and then we got LaSalle Elder. All right, have a good day, guys.